Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web. Look what I've been doing. I've undercoated all the figures from Relic and they're all ready for painting. So what I'm going to do to make it first, so I don't know which one I'm picking, I am going to, I was going to try and do a riffle shuffle with them, but I got a feeling I would have damaged them if I'd have tried doing that. So I'm just going to randomise them slightly. And the top one is the Ogryn. So we'll start off with Tallarn Sand. What's that one? Ungor Flesh. Balor Brown. Let's do some greens in this as well. We've got Elysian Green and Castellan Green. Okay, shall we have a darker brown for his hair? That sounds like a good idea. So let's see if we can find a darkish brown. Bestial Brown, I'll try it, that one, and Rhynox Hide. They'll do. Okay, so in fact let's go with Tallarn Sand and Screaming Skull for his vest top, shall we? So now we've got that bit, let's find the figure. There we are. What a beauty, eh? What a beauty. So there's also a trace of metal on here as well, so we're going to be doing our usual trick. And there's tin bits. Found it. Okay. So first of all we want Ungor Flesh. Strangely enough, for the flesh. Let's move the lamp in a little closer so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to have to get another lamp. This one isn't really suitable for needs, but until I get one it will have to do. Okay, so we'll go around and do all the flesh area. So we just need a decent coverage first. Once we've got that coverage, we can then go on to the next colour. So if I get my, sorry, brushing my mouth, if I get my sticky tack, pop it on there, I can then pop my figure on there, and I can hold it without causing any damage to the paintwork that I've just applied. So let's give this paint a little bit of a shake. And in this one I can't see myself getting away with not doing the eyes because they are quite big as opposed to the normal size 28mm figures that I usually get, where the eyes you can hardly see. I'm going to have to do the eyes on these, but there again, saying that, it's not a problem. Okay, so that's that done. Let's go over his mouth as well. We can always do something with that later. We'll do the, I'm not quite sure whether that's a leather mask or whether it's a metal one. I can't quite tell from that picture, but I do know that's his hair. He's going to be he's going to be dark brown, so we'll do the Rhynox Hide. And I've missed his ear. We'll go back again with the Ungor Flesh. I always miss something. I can see myself enjoying painting these because they're a decent size. It's totally different scale of figure than I normally paint, so fingers crossed. Okay, so that's that one done. Next, let us go with actually the Balor Brown, and I'm going to go over the mask part here because I think it would be like a leather kind of thing with the metal parts inside, and as this is the replacement colour for snakebite leather, it seems like it might be the appropriate colour to use. So anything that you think could actually be the leather parts won't get done in this, and obviously you can take your pick as to whether or not you think this is metal with a leather mounting or whether it's actually all metal. I think I'll go for the all metal routine on that. Okay, so that's that done. Next one I'm going to use is Tallarn Sand for his t-shirts, vest, whatever you want to call it. Well, it's all very similar colours, but this is after all more like a military, like an army foot soldier type of character. So he wouldn't be in, you know, fancy colourful clothing. He would be in more camouflage type colours. And what I really should have done was Ungor Flesh on his arms as well. He's wearing a short sleeve. He's wearing a sleeveless t-shirt rather than a short sleeved one. Okay, let's try and get underneath here done. You can actually see where the t-shirt ends and the arm starts because there is a quite prominent ridge in there, so the moulding on these is very good actually. Very detailed. Really quite impressed. Mind you, for the size of the pieces, you know, I can't really compare them to normal Games Workshop figures. These definitely aren't 28mm. But I suppose if you so wanted to, you could get away with using the appropriate piece from, if you've got on the official Games Workshop figures, with the Rogue Trader and the Assassin and the Tech Priest. You could use them instead of these. There we go. Okay, next, the shoulder things. I think we're going to do them in green. So we'll start off first of all with the Castellan Green. And we'll do all of this and then come back and separate any detail when it's dried. Oops, it's getting unstuck. There we go. A big army of them. Smurfs are alright in small doses, I suppose. There we go. There we go. That's the shoulders. Just get my Ungor Flesh out again and do his what there is of his arm. Well, there's not much, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done. There we go. Now we'll do this big patch here. Oops. Put that there. And I'll move that over here. And bear in mind when I finish painting this, it's all going to get a coating of Agrax Earthshade to pull out every little piece of detail in it, and then we can go back and highlight to suit as and when. Okay. He looks a bit different, does he not? Next step what I'll do is I'll change brushes because I want to go into more detail work, and I want to get my tin bits because we're going to be doing the metal parts. Now the metal is the tubing on his ocular implant. I believe I'm working at it that right around the very edge is going to be metal, and that I'm assuming would be a microphone or some such, and that would be as well. The edges of these would be metal because after all, slugs from a gun, ammunition rather, and I think will be metal. I'm going to leave that belt. Off camera, then I do apologise. I'm going to leave that belt black and come back and highlight it a tad later. But I'll do that as metal. I'll do that as metal and that. Next, strange as it may seem, I'm not going to do the winged skull on his shoulder metal. I'm going to do that in Screaming Skull. And I'm going to also do, in fact what I'll do first of all before I do that is give the shoulder areas a bit of a dry brushing over with some of the outside. So this is the Elysian Green, which I'm using as a highlight colour for the Castellan Green, which I have done before in other videos. There we are. And depending on how it looks when I finish going over with the Agrax Earthshade, I'll probably highlight it a bit more. This area needs to be highlighted, as does that area. That area doesn't really need to be because it's not actually in. If light's going above, that's going to be down below. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and touch up the Tallarn Sand here, because I've gone over it with, I think, with a touch of the Castellan Green. And once this is done, and it's dried, we're ready then for the Agrax Earthshade, the winged skull here with screaming skull, because I want to make it look like a stone effect. There we are. It may not look much at the moment, but once I've got the Agrax Earthshade on, and that gets into all the recesses with it, it should show up as the winged skull. There we are. I also do these knobbly bits as well with it. And obviously I'm going to be using Screaming Skull for highlighting after the Agrax Earthshade has been applied, so it's not a problem if I need to go over anywhere with it again. Oops, sorry, I've gone off again. Oops. Okay, so that's him done. A fine figure of a man. Just wait for a couple of seconds while we allow the paint to dry. Get my brush, get my figure, get my Agrax Earthshade, give it a shake, and give the Ogryn a bath. Here we go. So we delicately apply it. So all it needs now is, when this dries, we go around again and highlight. Also need to do his eye and work on his teeth. There we go. Oops. Yeah, they go too low or too high with this. I can never get a happy medium. Oh, there we go. That's the Ogryn done to a relatively usable stage.